friends, it's me, Jenna, with the White Witch Parlor, and today I want to talk about doing divination using your elements and tuning into the different elements to see how it affects your divination practices. The four elements are earth, air, fire, and water. We have all those elements that are naturally occurring in our surroundings at all times, even if you're indoors. The element of earth represents stability and grounding. It represents trees and nature. It also represents prosperity in the material physical world. So there's a couple topics here that we can cover with the earth element. Geomancy is the practice of taking sand or stones and casting them out and seeing what kind of patterns it creates. Almost like tea leaves, but with rocks, nature, and whatever you can grab from the earth. Next is osteomancy, and that is the finding of bones in nature. Might be from deer, might be from rats, but you can use them to cast out and get readings. This was an ancient pagan tradition, using the bones to get a form of divination reading, so you know what to expect for the future. Reading the results of the scattered bones help you to understand omens or patterns that are unfolding in your life. There's also tasseography, which is the reading of tea leaves using the plants. And once you drink your tea, you read the leaves on the bottom. You can also take your saucer plate, flip the cup onto that, and read the leaves that way. This practice also includes the reading of coffee grounds. You can also read the coffee grounds left in the bottom of a cup if you add a pinch. Sometimes just a sediment at the bottom of a teacup is more than enough to get a full-on reading. You might get an actual letter, initial of someone's name that you're trying to find out some information on, or it might be a full-on picture. This is a practice that's still frequently used in many different cultures, and it's very easy to read and interpret. Lithomancy is the casting of crystals or gemstones, and usually ones that have very specific meanings to them. This is a great way to learn your crystals and all their metaphysical properties. If you take a pouch full of assorted crystals and cast out one or two, or just reach in and grab one or two, you'll know what the answers are to your questions. If you pull out citrine, for example, you'll know that the answer is about abundance or finances. If, for example, you pull out a rose quartz, you might find that your matter has to deal with love matters. The next element is water. Water is a beautiful element. It's a conduit of energy as well. Water ties to emotions, intuition, even some dream work. It also works with healing in our subconscious mind. Water-based divination often involves scrying, water scrying, looking at a pond or a bowl of water, a dark bowl of water, and seeing the images reflect through your subconscious mind, meaning softening your gaze and simply just paying attention to the energy rather than what you're physically seeing in the reflections. The first one is hydromancy. This is where the practitioner usually gazes into some still water that's in a dark black bowl or a cauldron of water. A small puddle might even suffice on black asphalt or black dirt, because you're able to gaze and soften your gaze as you're gazing into this kind of otherworldly dimension. You're able to pull out answers from your subconscious mind, or just images that you're seeing, but you're not physically seeing it. It's more of an energy that it's emitting. These would be intuitive messages that will help guide you in whatever it is the question is for your journey. Crystallomancy is the divination with crystal balls. It is the same as hydromancy, only it's using the crystal ball. So it's not a fluid liquid, but instead a solid mass, and usually a clear crystal. You can also use the amethyst. I know they have different colors of crystal balls, and they sometimes help the gazer to take away any distractions. I know I've used a amethyst crystal ball before, and it seemed to be much more efficient for me because I wasn't picking up other external light sources so easily, so my gaze felt a little more focused. Crystallomancy is also the form of divination of just gazing on a reflective surface. So this doesn't necessarily have to be a full-on crystal ball. This can also just be a cabochon or any other crystal surface or reflective surface that you can gaze upon. Ceromancy is a fun one because that is a form of divination where you drip candle wax into water and you read the candle wax, for which it sets. As the candle wax hardens, you're able to decipher the messages. You might see letters and patterns. It's very much like tea leaf reading energy. It forms all kinds of things, and it's also a fun way to teach your kids divination if you're trying to get them into it, or if they're interested in learning some things about it. Another form of water divination is flow and reflection. Another good way to not only meditate, but to fully sit in that water divination is to sit by a stream of running water and just listen to the sounds, be observant in that moment, in that space, with that nature energy. See what it's saying to you, see what the energy is bringing to you, see what the shapes and patterns and movements are creating in your own energy field. Next, we have fire element. The fire element is passion, it's power, it's also destruction, and it's also life energy. It brings transformation and courage into us, and when we ignite our own passion, we ignite that fire within us. Pyromancy, the art of divination using fire. This can involve a practitioner gazing into an open bonfire or just a candle flame. It is a super powerful way to basically get yourself into a meditative state and really just listen and feel spirit. The art form of divination of gazing into a fire lamp, like an oil lamp or a gas lamp, and just watching the way the flame dances. If you're tuned into spirit, you can ask a question and watch the response through the action of the flame. Capnomancy is something that's fun to do with incense because it involves the art of divination through smoke, observing the way the smoke moves. Is it stagnant? Is the energy in the room stagnant? Is it very flowy? That would also mean that the energy in the room is very flowy. If it gets still, that means the presence in the room has gotten a little bit more thick. And so watching the smoke also can help you determine your intuitive messages that are coming through. And last but not least, the element of air. Air brings newness to us. It brings life and energy. It brings communications and clarity and new ideas. As an Aquarian myself, I love air energy, and I feel like the wind always speaks to me. I can ask a question and the wind will blow. Aeromancy is a form of divination where you interpret the clouds. You look at weather, atmosphere, and other patterns that are happening around you. Nephomancy is what we probably all did as children, laying on the ground, staring at the clouds and seeing the shapes and forms that they were forming. That is a form of divination. Some of us would ask, what is our Christmas gift going to be this year? And we'd see the shape come to us in the clouds. Astromancy is the divination form of studying the wind pattern and the wind flow. What direction? That's something that I practice. If the wind gets very violent on a question, I'll know that it's a very powerful energy coming through. If it's very calm and subtle, it's usually nothing to worry about. Ornithomancy is the practice of divination of studying the birds and how their flight patterns are changing and when they're taking flight. And last but not least is pendulum work. Pendulum work moves with the air. It moves sideways, up and down. You can use a pendulum board and get direct answers. It is a fun way to dive deep into pendulums and divination and learn how to tune into spirit, tune into your higher self, and tune into yourself and grow. And through all these forms of divination, you have all the elements backing you. You can use any kind that feels right for you. You might change them throughout the years. You might find better alternatives that no longer suit you from the past, and now you might be into another way. But either way, everything, all your tools are all around you. That is part of being a witch, part of using your intuition and your psychic intuitive energy, which we all have. So I hope this video helped you in finding your path to divination. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Bye.